Assistant Chief LaShawna Potts here to talk about, as we're all aware, the mass shooting that occurred yesterday morning. Thank you for joining us. We are here today to discuss yesterday morning's tragic incident that left 10 people wounded by gunfire, 2 of which were under the age of 18. The time and location was approximately 2:28 Sunday morning. Several special duty officers aired shots were being fired in the area of North High Street and East 3rd Avenue. They then asserted what they believed to be a suspect, male wearing all black, get into a white Honda Civic before the vehicle was driven away at a very high rate of speed. The officers pursued that vehicle and made several attempts to stop the driver. However, the driver of the vehicle was able to evade our officers. CPD officers were also dispatched to the 1100 block of North High Street at approximately 2:28 a.m. on reports of multiple shots being fired. Officers arrived and located 6 victims along North High Street, all suffering from what appeared to be gunshot wounds. Officers soon became aware of the additional 4 gunshot victims that had arrived at 3 separate local hospitals. They were each transported to the hospital by medics and 1 CPD cruiser. At this time, all victims are expected to survive. Shortly before 6:30, an adult male turned himself in at Columbus Police Headquarters yesterday. He identified himself as the driver of the pictured Honda Civic. He was ultimately arrested and charged with obstructing official business. The vehicle has been recovered as well. This is an ongoing investigation, and we are working diligently to gather all the facts, follow any and all leads, and locate those responsible for this shooting. As tragic as this shooting was, it could have been worse. We want to thank each medical staff at each hospital for their important work at saving lives. Each year as a division, we strive to find ways to lessen the number of incidents like these to ensure that our residents feel safe as they enjoy our city, but we cannot and have not done this alone. I'd like to thank our local state, federal partners, the local business communities, policymakers, grassroots organizations, and the residents of Columbus for their continued collaborative efforts. It is by all of us working diligently that we have been seeing the decreases in violent crime. In true partnership, the ATF has offered a $10,000 reward for any information that leads to the arrest of the suspects or suspect responsible for this incident. Throughout the years, the tips we receive from the community have proven to be truly valuable, and they often assist us in identifying and locating perpetrators of violence in our city. Please, community, continue to send your tips, your videos, your photos, anything you believe may help us locate any suspect or suspects, not just for this shooting, but for any acts of violence that occur in our city. You can scan the QR code on the screen or follow the link to send content anonymously to the Felony Assault Unit, or you can reach out directly to Detective Jones at 614-645-4373 or jmjones@columbuspolice.org. I'll say that number again. It is 614-645-4373 or jmjones@columbuspolice.org. Remember, no tip is too small. One violent act in the city of Columbus is one too many. And I assure you, no detail will be overlooked to the pursuit of apprehending people who commit violent acts in our community. Lastly, I'd like to extend my gratitude to the men and women of this division who tirelessly face danger and uncertainty to protect the peace and safety of our community. Your swift actions yesterday undoubtedly prevented even more tragic outcome. I would now like to introduce Deputy Chief Smith Weir, who will give you updates on other mass shootings that occurred across the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Potts. In addition to the incident that occurred on North High Street over the weekend, that is not the only mass shooting that we've had over the last 2 years. As has been documented, we've had 12 mass shootings over the past since 23 and 24. And obviously that's unacceptable for any community, specifically a community like Columbus that has prided itself on reducing gun violence and has seen a significant decrease this year. Unfortunately, the mass shootings have been an outlier in terms of our progress with gun violence. Just to give it some updates on some other shootings we've had. June 14th, 2024, 205 North 5th Street. The scene was a nightclub located on the street. There were 2 individuals that were murdered, in addition to 2 other individuals that were shot. We have charged 26-year-old Jaquez Hoover with 2 counts of murder out of that investigation. He has a warrant on file for those murders and is being sought right now. Any information leading to his arrest would be appreciated, and you can call the Crime Stoppers number, or you can call Homicide 614-645-4730. In addition, if you see that person, you can always call 911 and get officers there right away. June 1st, 2024, 500 block of North Ohio, 11:05 p.m., we were led to a shooting where we had 1 individual killed, a 39-year-old male, and 3 other people sustained non-fatal shooting injuries. We believe that this was an altercation that occurred over basically a makeshift after-hours club that was being utilized in the alley or the garage or the residence, and that some kind of altercation arose from that. We are seeking any information relating to that, and just like we've asked for with the Short North shooting, if you have any information, we'd like you to call Homicide and/or Crime Stoppers with that information. May 18th, 2024, 132 East 5th Avenue. This occurred at 2:45 a.m. outside of a local hookah lounge in Italian Village. This also was being utilized as an after-hours club. And we have several people, 3 other people sustained non-fatal shootings, and 3 people were killed out of this incident. We have charged 1 person with a weapons-related offense out of this, and are seeking to find and identify the additional suspects. We believe that there were several other shooters out of this investigation, and we are working to identify them. Any video from the incident, any tips, any information, we are asking for eyewitnesses to come forward. It is incumbent upon us as a community to show the suspects out of these incidents that the Columbus community will not stand for them, and that we will stand up and say, yes, I saw it. Yes, this is what happened. I'm not going to tolerate this. So December 2nd, 2023, 400 block of North Ohio. This occurred outside of a single-family residence on North Ohio Avenue on the Near East Side. The victims reported a verbal altercation that escalated into gunshots. I believe that this one we have charged an individual, and he is awaiting charges on felony assault. 4 victims, 3 adults, 1 juvenile, all shot and survived. So charges were filed for illegal gambling at the location as well. October 18th, 2023, 207 Winter Avenue. This is the 200 block of Winter on the Near East Side. Fight between multiple people resulted in shots being fired. 4 people, including 2 juveniles, were all injured in the shooting. All the victims survived. We charged and arrested with a 36-year-old male with multiple counts of felony assault, and he is awaiting trial. May 29, 2023, 4855 Pintail Creek Drive. This is on the Far East Side. Shooting occurred at a block party in a parking lot where vehicles were doing donuts. 7 people injured in the shooting, all survived. We have not been able to identify any suspects out of this shooting. We know that this was a block party that was advertised on social media. We do believe that there is video out there of the incident, and we are asking for any help with this, any video that was collected, anybody with any tips regarding the promoted party, and or what led to the shooting. We are asking you to call the felony assault unit on that, 645, we'll just go 4624 on that. So 614-645-4624 for that one. May 6, 2023, 1400 block of St. Clair Avenue. Victim's boyfriend shot her and then other members of the family before taking his own life. And so the suspect out of that shooting unfortunately died by suicide out of that. May 6, 2023, 624 North High Street. This is where additional shooting in the Short North. I believe 10 people were shot. We did have an officer-involved shooting that occurred at the conclusion of this incident. The BCI conducted a concurrent investigation with this. That was forwarded to the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office. In addition, we are seeking information related to this the non-police part of the shooting. We are conducting a criminal investigation into the 10 people that were shot, and we are seeking any tips for our homicide unit as well. So anything that the public could bring forward on that, we are talking to lots of individuals still out of that case. Our major case unit is investigating that. March 18, 2023, 1570 South High Street. This was an after-hours club in Marion Village. A fight inside the bar escalated into gunshots inside the club. Two people were killed, 4 other people were injured, and a suspect in this case was initially charged. Those charges were later dismissed. This was a shootout between several people inside the club. As is often the case with a lot of these shootings that are occurring at or in front of nightclubs, in after-hours clubs, we have multiple people armed with guns who are intoxicated, and then it becomes a situation of trying to identify who shot first, what started the argument, what started the fight, who escalated it first from a physical altercation into a gunfight. It is very hard for our detectives to solve these cases, and it is imperative that we get the community's help and support to try to ascertain and vet the facts of the case. So again, with that case, at this time, we do not have any current charges on anyone. January 29, 2023, 1680 Carl Court. This occurred at a gentleman's club in the Northland neighborhood. A adult male, 37 years old, died in the shooting. 3 other people were injured in the shooting. The suspect in that shooting, an adult male, has been charged with murder and is awaiting trial. And then the last mass shooting that was mentioned occurred on January 1st, 2023. That actually occurred on Franklin County's jurisdiction. They were the investigating agency, and a suspect has been charged in that case. So that's all I have.
Yep. So we'll open it up for any questions you may have.
Regarding Sunday's shooting, what evidence has been recovered so far?
So it's an active, ongoing investigation. We did recover some video as well as some casings there, but due to the ongoing investigation, we won't be releasing any of that information.
Deputy Chief Weir just said that the mass shootings is the outlier in crime going down here in the city of Columbus. I mean, does that concern you, and what are your plans to stop this from happening again in the future?
Absolutely. When you have mass shootings, there are some things that the police can do proactively to prevent, right? So we know now that we have mass shootings that are at bars or hookah lounges or after hours. What we've done as a division is rotate our hours so that officers are staying later as the clubs are closing, but also doing our moonlight detail that we started up for the summer, our Safe Streets initiatives that specifically go after violent offenders, having our gang enforcement unit particularly target known offenders who are known to carry guns and become shooters. There's a multifaceted approach that we're doing, not with just us, but within external forces like Mothers of Murdered Columbus Children, OVP, Office of Violence Prevention, CVR, Columbus Violence Reduction. I will say this is not an anomaly just in Columbus. We trend across the country to see where we are, and mass shootings are happening across the country. It is a gun problem. It is the problem that people have access to guns that they may not have had in previous years, and then de-escalation techniques. People are shooting each other over small arguments that could be settled if somebody just chose to walk away.
Last year after the shooting, the mass shooting in the Short North, yourself, Chief, and the mayor presented some plans to reallocate resources, put more police officers there, put more cameras there. Are there any thoughts or plans about maybe adding a police substation closer to the Short North?
So I would tell you, we had a lot of police officers in the Short North over the weekend. The focus is that officers are exactly where we wanted them to be. They were present, they were in the meeting, they had their lights on, they were up and down the Short North engaging with our community. The issue is the brazen lack of accountability for our criminals. The fact that we had officers almost on every corner in the Short North at a time where the clubs are closing, people still decided to shoot at each other. And so as we look across how can we strategically plan, sometimes we can't outplan someone's behavior, but we're doing everything we can as a division. We're reaching out to our community partners. As you've seen, we've had a decrease in violent crime across every category. That didn't just happen with the police department. That is working collaboratively with our city employees, our grassroots organizations, and community initiatives. We've seen a decrease, but as we've said, mass shootings are happening across the country, and this is the outlier. One of the things that we're asking the community to do is when you see things that are popping up, especially in businesses, warehouses, things that don't normally happen, please call us so that we could be ahead of it and not behind trying to locate people after the shooting has occurred.
There was a 16-year-old victim. I mean, I don't know if you know what the 16-year-old's involvement was, but knowing that there was a 16-year-old in the Short North is concerning. Does this worry you about juvenile crime picking up throughout the summer?
Absolutely. That's why we have all these initiatives. Mayor Ginther, even our division, we have community programs across the city. We're asking parents to be parents, right? Make sure your kids are in home at a reasonable time, but also just avail yourself to the services in a community for all of these organizations. We have midnight basketball that's starting up in some of the communities. We want these children to have a place where they can safely engage in activity, but not with guns in their hands, not with fear of being shot. But we also know when you have a 16-year-old or 14-year-old after hours at 2 o'clock in the morning, there's no good that can come from that, especially if they're not with their parents.
How effective or valuable have these portable camera units that you've deployed through the Short North been in the past year?
I would say very valuable, but they're not just in the Short North. We have them deployed across the city. What it does help us is we have video available that we can utilize. And that's how we're solving our cases, between community partnership, tips that we're receiving, the fact that we do have technology and we're using every resource, the fact that we have a mini real-time crime center embedded in headquarters. All of these things together have helped us to reduce violent crime. But we can't be a police issue only. It has to start with parental guidance, knowing where your kids are. It has to start with people taking accountability for anger management, de-escalation. Those are all the things that we're looking at with our community partners. How do we move forward in 2024 and into 2025 to continue to see the decrease that we have?
White
Time
Honda
for
Civic
one more
initially,
question. Let's take one more.
that white Honda Civic initially got away. Columbus Police has 5 helicopters at their disposal. How many were in the air? And did you ever have eyes on them with those helicopters?
So
Having them?
we, and I don't know if Chief Sago, if you know if the helicopter was in the air at that time, but we had several other initiatives across the weekend we did utilize helicopters. But I would tell you, the officers did exactly what they were supposed to do. Sometimes in real-life situations, in real-time moments, the officers have to make a decision. Do we continue to pursue a vehicle that can ultimately kill someone else, or do we back away from that vehicle when we already have a plate and we can identify it other ways? I think officers did exactly what they were trained to do in this instance, and instead of us talking about what they didn't do or did do, we're asking the community to step up, help become a partner, which they have, but also hold these criminals accountable. Outlying in this initiative, we know that these mass shootings will continue to occur across the country if we don't come together as a community, talk about gun safety, talk about de-escalations, and have our community continue to be the partner that they have been.
Downtown, do you have a message for businesses downtown if they're worried about, this impacting their business, their livelihood? I'm sorry, Jen.
It's all good.
I will tell you that Columbus is safe. The business community in the Short North is safe. We encourage our citizens to continue to do what they've done all summer and all winter, continue to go to those bars, restaurants, boutiques, continue to spend your dollars. And as a division, we are ensuring that we will do everything we can to continue to make Columbus a safe city. And ultimately, our goal is to make it the biggest, safest city in the country. Thank you.